Alright. So, fucking just cracked me up. I was watching a Tim video, and he was making fun of people that start their video off so. And I'm like, because I know that I've talked to Tim before through this medium. There are times when Tim says things and I'm like, I know, right? And I know that I am a YouTuber's YouTuber. A lot of YouTubers know about me, they just don't promote me ever. Which is, thank you for that. And, right? So, like, I don't know. I think I'm just, I don't know. So anyways, like I found out recently, I was talking to, who was it I was talking to? I think I was talking to Ren, the guy that plays the medtech in the Cyberpunk game. I was talking to him one night, and he told me that he heard of me through Computing Forever, Dave Cullen. And I was like, when the fuck did he talk about me? And he's like, years ago, man. He was doing a thing where he was talking about new YouTubers that people should check out, and he had you in there. And I'm like, I didn't know about that. So, and then I wound up, like, fucking shitting all over him during the Kilroy disaster. So, sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you, but you fucked up. But, like, you know, so there's that kind of thing. Yeah, so Tim was knocking on people that start their videos, so, and I'm not taking it personally because it's YouTube and I don't fucking care, but, like, I was sitting there going, read my email, Tim, what the fuck? Still haven't gotten an answer from Tim about his offer. It's just, apparently Tim wasn't weak enough, or he didn't read the email in a weakened state, or whatever. And I didn't get through. But he didn't even say, no, man, I'm cool. Like, no response. Oh, Tim, I emailed you directly through your email me here for a fucking response thing. Ass. Anyways, so, now I'm going to have to check my email for the rest of the week to see. But, anyways, yeah, just made me laugh. But all in all, Tim, when it comes down to it, like teasing us for our little verbal quirks and our crutches, glass house is my friend, and yours is mighty big, and your glass is mighty thin in this situation. So, granted, I've knocked on you for a lot of things that I wind up doing too, and I understand the situation that we're in, but at the same time, Tim, hello. My name is Pot. You're an asshole.
Who run Bartertown?
You know who.
You know him, you love him. He's...
So, I have an update on the George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial. I have an update. We're at a point wherein I think I can give an update because I think I know where this is going, right? So, obviously the update comes with a prediction, and then the predictions will begin to spiral from there. I'm just going to go through what I think is going to happen for the remainder of this year, probably. So, here we go, right? Currently the trial is going on. It's being reported on by the news. Some news outlets are reporting some things, but not others. Other news outlets are reporting other things, but not some things. It's a sticky situation, and it's very complex. There are a lot of good hits being made on both sides, right? Now, this is a jury trial, and ultimately it will be based on what the jury ultimately thinks. So, it's weird in that life moves so fast now. Like, it's really almost impossible to get a fair trial when it comes down to it. Like, right after the situation happened, that whole area burned. So, for people to not know about what happened is almost impossible. You know what I mean? So, and all that's based off of 10 minutes that everybody watched and went, whoa, and then we decided what happened. Right? You don't have any fucking idea what happened before or after. Or what was even really going on during. Don't know. So, what are you going to do? Right? Burn the place to the ground. That's what you do. So now, we're at a point where things are getting spicy. Right? We're in the witness testimonies. And witnesses going up and giving their testimony. And there have been wins on both sides. There have been good points made on both sides to back each side's argument. You know, these two lawyers are good. Right? But things have taken an odd turn. It's an odd turn because all this does is add into the complexity of shit, right? When George Floyd, the whole situation happened, there was a woman and a man in the car with him, right? I've talked about this before, made the point, if they were out to kill black people, why did 1 out of the 3 black people die when the other 2 black people were so passive and nice and just talked to him and they survived, and the other guy was, you know, rough to deal with and fought him the whole time and he died. So it's like, what do you do if you want to survive? Right? So the guy that was probably in the most trouble in that whole situation, he was compliant. And fucking, you know, he survived. So, he's there. He's a witness. Like, I was there throughout the situation. I was there long before the situation happened. I was there through the situation. And I was there after the situation. He was a fucking eyewitness. He was there. On video, he's there. Multiple times. Right? So, man's there. And the court wants to hear what he saw. Right? He's saying, look, you gotta understand something. If I talk about really anything that happened that day, and this is from his attorney. If my client talks about anything that happened in that whole situation, he would be incriminating himself possibly to manslaughter. And I went, like, it's odd how admissibilities in court work. I don't know I imagine that the knowledge of, like, the star witness, one of the key witnesses, you know, an eyewitness that was there throughout the whole thing, watched it happen in living color, right? This guy is saying, I can't testify about any of that because I might incriminate myself as to the death of the man in question. So they have this cop on trial for murder 2, murder 3, and manslaughter, right? And the witness is saying, look, I don't want to testify because if I do, you guys might think I did this, not him. Now, I mean, look, I don't know about admissibilities in court. I don't know if the jury will be allowed to take into account that there's a human being in this world that said, if I testify as to what happened in the death of this man, you will arrest me for the death of this man. I don't know if they're allowed to take that shit into consideration. But if they are, I think I know how this trial is going to go. And honestly, because that's happened, like just based on the merit of this witness came out and said, if I testify in this case of this cop murdering this man, you might decide to charge me with the murder of this man. So, I mean, look, now I understand that the case also hinges on if Derek Chauvin wins the case, it's going to be because most likely it was proven that George Floyd in some way, or at least the jury decided in some manner or another, or there was a hung jury or there was mistrial, whatever the fuck happened. Somebody had enough of a shadow of a doubt as to think it might possibly have just been the drugs that killed this man and not this police officer. Right? Like, that is ultimately what the defense is arguing. It was the drugs, not the hold. The prosecution is arguing it was the hold, not the drugs. I kind of maintain that there's probably a nice middle ground in there somewhere wherein the man was on a lot of drugs that weren't good for him, but the hold probably didn't fucking help. You know what I mean? Like, I take more of a realistic approach to it. Do I think anyone is entirely at fault? Well, George Floyd. I think he's entirely at fault because I believe that George Floyd had self-control, self-awareness, and the fucking capacity to do what he wished to do. Right? Now, we can get into addiction if we want to and say that, yeah, he had driving forces to push him in directions that were increasingly worse. But, again, we all have a choice. And even junkies decide, I'm going to get clean. You know what I mean? Now, that's George Floyd and his problems. Derek Chauvin is another thing. He's apparently just not a great cop. Like, we do as a society kind of figure that all police are just going to be fucking amazing at the job. Like, have you ever worked with somebody that was shit at their job? I've worked with a lot of people that are shit at their job. And it beggars to belief to think that there aren't some cops out there that are just shit at their job. And I honestly think, given Derek Chauvin's history and the complaints that have been issued to him in the past, and all of this, that, and the other thing, and what happened in the situation, and so on and so forth, taking it all in, I think he's just shit at his job. Like, he's just not good at being a cop. I think he wanted to do it because he wanted to do it for whatever reason he wanted to do it. And at some point, he should have learned, you know, I'm not really good at this, and lives are on the line. So maybe I should, you know, work on perhaps being a dispatch. If I really still want to be a cop, I could be a dispatcher, you know? Maybe he's good at answering phones and directing calls. Because apparently he's not good at dealing with perps. You know what I mean? Like, so, and the drugs, you know, that other guy made his decisions. And his decisions quite possibly might have led to the death of this man. And Derek Chauvin's decision to remain being a cop, even though he's not good at it, also led to the death of this man. Can we blame the drug dealer? Somewhat. Because he knows what he's doing. Can we blame the cop? Somewhat. Because he knows what he's doing. The question is, who is more directly involved in this man's death? The drug dealer has been dealing drugs to him for years and getting him more and more hooked? Or the cop that ran into him one day for about a half an hour and it was a really bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, this is why it's so tricky. And this is the situation that we're in. But that's why we need courts to decide these sorts of things. And that's why we need juries to sit down and be able to go through all the evidence on a big table with fucking 11 of them. And they gotta go through it all and go, shit, what do we, and this is it. And they gotta figure out what to say, what to do, who's right, who's wrong, who to award what to. It's our civic duty to do that sort of shit. And these people are doing it. God bless them, man. Because that's rough. Because right now, you've got people posting videos saying that if we don't get what we want, then we're gonna riot. And it's like, well, with how prevalent doxing is these days, the jurors have got to be nervous about that kind of shit. They've got to know at this point what case they're on. They got to know at this point what happened because of what happened. So that's got to be nerve-wracking, to say the least. But they're also supposed to dispense justice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's more to it than that. And when you're in the situation, you know, there is a sense of what you're doing there, man. Like, there's always going to be somebody to remind you this is somebody's life. And this is justice for a man who lost his life. Like, we need to find where justice is. And there's a heavy weight of that. Every time you walk into that deliberation room, I can only imagine. So, man, that's a lot of mixed up feelings all in you all at once. That's gotta be rough. So, because of that happening, because the dealer has decided, yeah, I would really rather not testify because you might decide I killed him. Just that happening pretty much tells me that no matter what the laws of admissibility are as far as this dude not wanting to testify because he's going to have to plead the fifth, no matter what, if the defense loses this one, that's going to be mind-boggling. I mean, it's just going to be mind-boggling. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens when what happens happens. But as far as Derek Chauvin getting murder 2, I think still is ridiculous. That's like a big ask type of thing. You say murder 2 so that hopefully they plea murder 3. Right? Like, and this guy's smart enough that he's going to be like, no, I ain't even going to play murder 3 because it ain't that. You know what I mean? So, they wanted murder 3. I said, look, if you want murder 3, the only way to do it is to tell him that you're going to put him up for murder 2 and hope he pleads. But this dude's a cop. He ain't going to fucking plea. He knows the law. He's the police. So, you know what I mean? Like, they know what they're doing. Somewhat. I mean, again, there's degrees of competency, but nevertheless, the knowledge base should be at least there that he knows to ask for a lawyer. Because I'm sure as a police officer, he knows to get pissed off whenever his perps want to ask for a lawyer. You know what I mean? Fuck, now we're not going to get any freebie information, right? So I imagine he immediately said, I want my lawyer, right? And now everything is getting filtered through the lawyer in some way or another. This man knows what he's doing. So, murder at all was a long shot. Manslaughter is possible. Because manslaughter could be he's incompetent at his job. And his job involves protecting lives and putting lives in danger. And he not only put a life in danger, he did it for an excessive amount of time. It was ridiculous. And it wound up resulting in a man's death. So, manslaughter was reasonable. And honestly, I think, had everybody fucking not lost their shit collectively, they could have walked in there and said, we're going to put you up for murder 3, and he would have said, can we plea manslaughter? And I think this shit would more or less be done by now. Right? He'd be in jail already probably, and fucking shit would still be burning because they'll never be satisfied. It doesn't fucking matter. We went up for manslaughter, not murder 1, so now we still gotta burn shit. Oh, he went up for murder 3 instead of murder 1. Now we still gotta burn shit. Oh, he went up for murder 2 instead of murder 1. We still gotta burn shit. Oh, he only went up for murder 1. They're not gonna give him the death penalty. We gotta burn shit. Okay, well now they gave him a death penalty, and that's a good start. We got other cops on the block though. We gotta burn shit. Doesn't fucking matter. As long as there's police, they're still gonna want to burn shit. So, pretty much no matter what, they're gonna burn shit. So the question becomes the degree. Because as it's looking, this case is not looking good for the prosecution. It's just not. Like, it hasn't hit a full spiral yet, but really, we're like on the verge. It's one more fucking thing, and that's it. It's done. Like, they've got to start getting really good points in soon and at a constant basis, or else this is fucked. They're done. Because I think they've already spent their wad. I think they've already gone with everything they got. At this point on, they're only putting up things that could help the defense. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not looking good for the prosecution. So I think that it depends on how much they bumble this. They could bumble this into acquittal. If they do, it's going to be a lot of burning. A lot of people are going to die. Because this man, it was decided, did not directly kill George Floyd because it was his drug use. Or whatever. They just say, well, you know, we don't know why he died. But it wasn't that. So we think, says the jury. Like, dude, man, oh my God. Shit's going to burn like crazy. It's going to be insane. Like, California's already burning. Like, at a constant basis. Because California is hell. So, I think that's just going to get worse. I don't know. I mean, California might decide, look, we don't need more fire. But, you know, Portland is in Oregon, which is, you know, Oregon is still on fire too, and they still burn everything now. So, they're going to do it. And all sorts of other stupid fucking cities and stupid fucking states are going to do it. And this fucking country is going to burn the places here and there. And people are going to die like crazy. And you know who it is that's going to suffer the most? Black people. Because that's exactly what happened last summer. I watched a constant parade of black people crying about their children being shot. And black people crying about their businesses going up in flames. Literally. Black people talking about losing loved ones. Brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers. I watched it all summer long. And I think we're about to go through it again. Because this man, at this point, I don't see murder 2 happening. I don't see murder 3 happening. And the people who are plotting to riot aren't going to be satisfied with either of those anyways, because they didn't want either of those to begin with. They wanted murder 1. So they don't even have the option to get what they originally wanted. That's off the table. So who seriously thinks this shit ain't going to burn? Even if he gets murder 2. They're still going to say it's not justice because he's only going to jail for 40 years and George Floyd is dead for the rest of his life. So, get ready everybody, prepare. No matter what, shit's going to burn. The only question is degrees. And I'm thinking it's going to be a high degree. And that sucks. That really fucking sucks. I don't want to have to go through that dumb shit again. But, oh, and we're all isolated too. You know, that's good because we, got COVID and stuff. Oh my God, and fucking on the news they were talking about this new strain of COVID that they've come across that attacks children. It makes it to where children are just as just as infected as adults, and it's just as bad. And right, because what has the argument been for getting kids back in school? Well, kids don't transmit the disease as bad. They don't fucking come down with it as bad. Well, now we've got a new strain that seems to correct that problem. So now we gotta all lock up again. I imagine that shit's coming. Like, I hear about it a little bit. I hear murmurings of shit. And it's them floating out ideas. And we'll see how that one picks up. Because if they start running with it, if you start hearing about this new strain of COVID that's pretty much child-based, it's because you wanted your kids back in school. I'm sorry. It's because your kids wanted to go back to school. I apologize. I mean, the parents want their kids to go back to school too, but nevertheless, many of the children would like to go back to school as well. Because you want to, we had to develop a new strain of COVID that would attack you specifically. So you still have to stay at home. This is for your safety. But I feel like killing myself. Well, don't do that, because that's also against your safety. So we're going to not let you have anything in your house that you could possibly hurt yourself with. So give us your shoelaces and everything else. Oh, I'm sorry, your TV has a cord. Alright, now sit in here in an empty room. Don't kill yourself. But remember, you can't have contact with other humans. Bye, little 10-year-old boy or girl. Holy fucking shit. Like, dude. 1,000 years of darkness. I warned people. For years I said it's going to be 1,000 years of darkness. Whatever. Cool. We all voted for it. I mean, I didn't vote for it, but I was shouted down by all of the media and corporations that decided that I am a racist.